From WFRV Local 5, your local election headquarters. This is Newsmaker Sunday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us for Newsmaker Sunday. I'm Tom Zalaski. Well, as the election approaches, one of the biggest races the state and in fact the country are keeping an eye on is who is taking former Congressman Mike Gallagher's seat in the 8th District of Wisconsin. Republican businessman and Trump-endorsed Tony Weed won the primary election last month, defeating former State Senator Roger Roth and current State Senator Andre Jacques. Weed will take on Democratic candidate and OB/GYN Dr. Kristen Lyerly. And the doctor joins us this morning via Zoom for our show. Dr. Lyerly, thanks so much. Good to see you again. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, Tom, thank you so much for having me, even if it has to be via Zoom. I would so much rather be with you there in the studio, but this will do for now.
Well, last time we were together in the studio here, Doctor, it's been a couple of months now since we last spoke. You ran unopposed, but now the campaign is obviously in a different gear. How have things changed for you since the August primary?
I think things have just ramped up. We've always had this North Star. We know we can win this district. We know what we're all about. We're about restoring healthcare access, certainly reproductive healthcare access, but we're all about making life more livable again for the people of Northeast Wisconsin. So we're just getting out, talking to folks, doing as much as we can all across the district.
You, of course, have been the Democratic candidate for this seat since day one, but now the primary is over. You know your opponent. How will you run against Tony Weed, obviously without giving away too much? What will be your plan of attack?
Well, I'm entirely different than my opponent. I am a first-generation college student. I am of the district, 6 generations deep. I'm someone who has a lifetime of public service in my past, from Girl Scouts to National Honor Society at Kaukauna High School to Doctors in Recital, a great organization that raises money for lots of local nonprofits, to the work I do at Wello. And it's not just in the public arena, but it's also in my professional organization, the elected positions that I've held there and the service that I've provided both at home and across the country. That is my background. It is my deepest desire to make life better for people. And that is the thing that really sets me apart from Tony Weed, who only recently made a decision to enter public service.
As we mentioned earlier, Dr. Weed is former President Donald Trump's choice, the endorsed candidate, so to speak. How will that play a role in your campaign over the next several weeks?
Well, again, I am an independent voice here in the district and of the district. I am a moderate, and this district always chooses a moderate. Mike Gallagher was a moderate. Reed Ribble was a moderate. Democrat Steve Kagan was a moderate. Trump-endorsed Tony Weed is an extremist. He's a rubber stamp for Donald Trump. That is not what the people of Northeast Wisconsin want. They want an independent thinker, and they want a moderate.
So that Trump-endorsed moniker, is that something you perhaps would use against him?
I think he sees it as a benefit. It certainly is the thing that got him through the primary. He's very proud of it. It's the thing that leads on his yard signs. I've never seen a candidate take second billing on their own yard sign. So this is a point of pride for him. But for me, Trump is an anchor for what's happening in this country. He is a threat to our democracy. And the people who are voting for me, the people who are understand what's happening with healthcare, with our economy, with the border, the people who are really paying attention to the issues recognize that Donald Trump is playing politics over people every single time, and Tony Weed is part of it.
Doctor, before we get too deep into the weeds about the political issues of the day, for those who missed the last show we did together when you were here in the studio, a little bit of background, a little bit of history about Dr. Kristen Lyerly.
Yeah, I am a Kaukauna native. I'm the mom of 4 amazing sons. I'm a first generation college student who has fought for everything that I've gotten in my life. And I've got that grit because I come from people who've worked in the paper industry. My family all worked at the mill in Kaukauna. The other side of my family, they're dairy farmers. They know the value of hard work. It's all of that and all of the community building. I still keep in touch with my high school friends and the people, the patients that I've helped to grow their families here in the community. It's all about those relationships. That is what I bring to the seat and to this, what I will bring to Congress on behalf of the people of Northeast Wisconsin.
We have much more to come with Dr. Kristen Lyerly right after this, so please stay right there. We are back now with 8th Congressional Democratic District candidate Dr. Kristen Lyerly. Doctor, on your website, you've got several campaign issues listed, and I want to touch on a few of those here. First of all, access to quality, affordable health care. Who is not getting the access that they should?
Well, in the state of Wisconsin, there are a lot of people who aren't getting access to quality, affordable health care. You know, we are one of 10 states that has not expanded Medicaid. We haven't even expanded postpartum Medicaid, which means that new moms, new families, these women lose their health insurance coverage just 60 days after delivery. And that is not what we need to be doing in the wealthiest country on earth. We've got the most expensive health care in the world and the worst outcomes amongst developed countries. We can do better. There is a way for us to do better. And I work in rural communities. Here in rural areas, people have a hard time getting to the doctor. There aren't doctors here for them. It is a real struggle even to pick up prescriptions or to get access to therapy. We deserve better and we can make it happen.
So you talked about how we're the most expensive when it comes to health care. Affordable health care. We've been chasing this one down for years now. How do you make health care affordable?
Yeah, well, it's tricky. You know, we're going to have to work within our current system. The ACA was a huge step forward, and we need to make sure that we protect the ACA. I personally am covered under the ACA, as are so many of my friends and colleagues. Without that, we wouldn't even have access to insurance. But we also have to make sure that barriers like prior authorizations are removed. People don't get the care they need because they're told no by their insurance companies when they're told yes by their physicians. That needs to go away. And furthermore, prescription drug prices. Drugs need to be affordable. The ability for Medicare to negotiate drug prices is so very important. We need to do more of that.
All right, next one, the big one, protecting reproductive rights. I know this is your main campaign issue. What's at stake here in your view?
Hey, our ability to make our own personal medical decisions. I mean, reproductive rights across the country are in peril. In states like Idaho, 25% of OBGYNs have left the state of Idaho, leaving women and families without access to care. And what we see as a result is 3 times more women die in these states related to their pregnancies because they don't have access to the reproductive health care that they need. And furthermore, in states like Texas, we're seeing more babies that are dying. Infants, 12% more infants are dying because of lack of access to care. This, too, is something that we can fix, but we have to have the political courage to do it.
All right, another big umbrella issue here, strengthening the economy. Everybody wants to do that. Nobody's got the answer. How do you approach that?
Well, there isn't one answer. This is a multifactorial approach, and it is really the number one thing. No matter who I talk to, everybody is worried about the economy. Everything is expensive. Food is expensive. Gas is expensive. Housing is expensive. Getting an education is expensive. We have to ensure that we crack down on corporate price gouging. You know, corporate profits have gone up. 50% of inflation is due to corporate profits, and that's off of our backs as we are trying to provide food for our families. So that's one place. But, you know, things like housing, we can make housing more affordable. There are a number of levers that we can pull. in Congress to work with local developers, local home builders to build those homes, especially for first-time homeowners who desperately need a place to stay and really want to buy a home, but just don't have the ability to do that.
You mentioned earlier you've got a farm background. You're interested in investing in rural communities. What's needed out there?
It's not just farms. It's just places, smaller towns, communities that don't have all of the same infrastructure that we do in many of our larger towns. And what's needed? Everything is needed. There is so much need in these communities that often don't have, healthcare is a huge thing for many folks, seniors especially, who have so many touches with the healthcare system in rural areas, but also support for small businesses. Small businesses in small towns are struggling to get by. And, not to bring it back to healthcare again, Tom, but it always does come back. I was just having this conversation last night with a small business owner in a small town. He said, I love my employees, but the one thing I can't give them is healthcare.
Dr. Kristen Lyerly is our guest this morning, and we have more to come, so please stay right there. And welcome back to Newsmaker Sunday. 8th Congressional District candidate Dr. Kristen Lyerly is our guest this morning. Doctor, we touched on it a little bit in the last section. One of your biggest issues, the biggest in the November election, abortion. For you, does it come down to the government staying out of and leaving it up to women and their doctors, solely those two people?
Tom, don't we all want the freedom to make our own personal healthcare decisions? I'm not just talking about abortion. I'm talking about a new cancer diagnosis, or when you have a new blood pressure problem and you need a medicine. Don't you want to be part of that conversation and be in charge of what happens next? There's no way for the government to regulate our individual healthcare choices. They're too personal. They're too deeply involved in the specifics of our own personal situations, and it just doesn't work for any of us. So, yeah, I stand on the side of freedom.
So, it sounds like what you're saying, it's bigger than abortion. It's advocating for bodily autonomy, isn't it?
It is. Isn't it crazy that we have to advocate for bodily autonomy in this election? But that truly is what's happening here.
Okay. If Donald Trump were to win the presidential election, how does life change for you, being a doctor, and for the women that you provide services to?
Well, Tom, I am deeply invested in taking care of my patients and their families. That's what got me here in the first place, and that's what I will continue to do while serving in Congress and in my community. Donald Trump would just make it harder. He's boasted about overturning Roe. He's boasted about the rights and freedoms that he has taken away from women and families. But then out of the other side of his mouth, he said, I support things like IVF, which then the Republicans turn around and decline to support. There's so much confusion there. But I think the one message that we've seen is that Donald Trump does not believe, he does not stand with women and families. I will always stand with women and families, regardless of what happens in November.
And outside of the abortion issue and bodily autonomy, you seem to also be involved in family planning. Am I correct?
Oh, yeah. So in my current role, I'm here in a hospital in a rural area, and mostly I'm delivering babies. But I also see patients in clinic. I prescribe contraception. I work with women who are experiencing symptoms of menopause. I treat other conditions, and sometimes I do surgeries as well. Abortion is a very small part of my practice, but it is still a part of my practice, and it is a necessary part of my practice. And in fact, I've saved lives here in this rural community by providing emergency abortion care.
The last time we spoke, or since the last time we spoke, we have a much different landscape now. We have Joe Biden dropping out. We have Kamala Harris coming in. Do you feel a renewed energy? I mean, people were behind Joe Biden, but it seems as though there is a greater enthusiasm now, especially on women's issues, with Harris in the works.
I do. Vice President Harris has been a wonderful advocate. You know, this was a tough topic for Joe Biden, but Kamala Harris has been behind this reproductive freedom movement from the very beginning. And it just makes sense. I mean, she's Mamala to her stepkids. She is the anchor in her family. So that's what I am in my family. And that's what I am trying to make sure that my patients have for themselves. But yes, from the top down, we are feeling energized. And I got to tell you, from the bottom up, we're feeling incredible effervescence from state candidates all across the region. Renee Peplum, Emily Cephos, Kelly Peterson, Andy Rich up in the north. We have more women running across the 8th congressional district than men. That is not the tradition in Northeast Wisconsin, but this is a new Northeast Wisconsin.
And we are back to wrap up with Dr. Kristen Lyerly right after this, so please stay with us. We are back with Dr. Kristen Lyerly, who is running for Congress in Washington to represent the 8th District of Wisconsin. Doctor, you recently launched Veterans for Kristen. Tell us about that.
That is a labor of love. And it wasn't really me that launched it. It was an incredible person up in Oconto, Mark. He came to me with this idea that we are not doing enough to support veterans, and he supports me, and he wants to know how we can amplify his voice. And so, in the setting of having lost my own cousin, a veteran, to suicide earlier this year, and the work that I've done with Jake Vandenplas out at the Door County Farm for Vets, it was just such a perfect storm of goodness to bring forward Veterans for Wisconsin. And what a joy it will be to go to Washington, D.C. and be able to advocate for these folks and ensure that they have access to the health care that they need, because I know that's not happening, and the benefits that they need to serve these true patriots. These are the real patriots who stepped up to protect our country. So I'm honored by this movement, but it wasn't started by me. It was started by folks in our movement.
As a member of Congress, if you are to win this election, you are not only going to deal with health issues where your expertise is, but also you've got to deal with the world issues going on right now. I mean, we've got a continuing budget bill going on, being battled out in Washington. Are you doing some sort of a crash course like things in the Middle East and Ukraine and the economy, those sorts of things?
Well, I've been paying attention, as a person in Northeast Wisconsin and how it affects us specifically. But yeah, I've been paying very close attention and talking with advisors. And that too has been a lovely thing. Tom, this is not just a campaign, it's a movement. And people have been coming in and offering their expertise, their advice, sharing articles and information. I've learned so much in the last year about all of these things that are not my area of expertise. Realistically, we don't know everything about everything, and we have to rely on experts. And I am very excited to be able to share that I have a deep bench of experts supporting me, helping me understand what the issues are, and they will continue to help me so that I can best represent the people of Northeast Wisconsin.
Your opponent and most of the Republican Party hammering away at securing the southern border. Do you have any concept, any ideas on how that can be done? Again, this is one we've been dealing with since the Eisenhower administration.
Yeah, it's always going to be a struggle, but there was a solution. Remember, we had a bipartisan solution. It's still there. It was created by some of the most conservative members of the Senate and some of the most liberal members of the Senate. And it would have passed if it hadn't been for Donald Trump saying, no, I want to be able to campaign on this issue because I know that it is an issue that creates fear in people's hearts. That's wrong. That's politics over people. And that would be a bill that I would very much love to be involved with so we can start to stem what's happening at the border, securing our borders, making sure that we don't have illegal drugs coming over the border, and also creating an efficient path to citizenship that is critical for the future of our country.
I'm interested in something you said earlier in our broadcast, in the last segment when we were talking about the abortion issue and we were talking about Harris and how you seem to have a greater ally now on that issue. And you said for Joe Biden, this was a tough one. Why was it a tough one for Joe Biden?
For the same reason it's a tough one for many of us in Northeast Wisconsin. We are deeply Catholic. We're one of the most Catholic congressional districts in the country. I myself grew up in the Catholic faith. And so I understand how tough it is to talk about reproductive health and definitely about abortion. But the truth of the matter is, I can tell you as a physician, Catholics receive abortion care and use birth control at the same rate as everyone else. We just don't talk about it the same. I can talk with people about it, and people know that. And that's why people approach me and share their stories. And that's also how I know we're going to win this district.
All right, Doctor, I've got about 1 minute left in this show to give you a chance to tell viewers why you should be the next congressman in our 8th district.
Tom, it's the craziest thing. This little kid who grew up in Kaukauna could have never envisioned running for the district where I was born and raised and where my family has been for 6 generations. You know, I am a mom. I'm an OBGYN doctor, but above all, I'm a public servant with a long history of public service. It would be my absolute joy to bring that lifetime of giving back to my community to Washington, D.C., so that I can make a difference and solve some of these problems that I know are vexing the people of this area that raised me.
Dr. Kristen Lyerly, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Much appreciated.
Oh, thank you so much, Tom.
And if you have a newsmaker in your town who you think we should have on this program, let us know about it. Send us an email to tips@wearegreenbay.com, or you can message us on Facebook. And be sure to join us once again Sunday morning at 7. Until then, have a great day.